Morning has not gone as planned. All right. 8 a.m., I think around 8 a.m., my daughter calls. She was on the phone with me, or FaceTime audio call, over 2.5 hours phone call, talking about everything from politics to philosophy to theology to world history, to Israeli-Palestinian conflict, to you name it. 2.5 hours. Now, I love the fact that she will call me and talk that long about literally everything. That's really cool, but that's 2.5 hours of my day. Whew, just gone. Okay, just gone. So now I have to figure out what to do. So what we're going to do now is going to go by very, very, very fast, but hopefully it'll be beneficial. Hang on, I'm going to go to YouTube really quick and see. First, I see the notifications. Okay, good. Nothing bad. Nobody calling me out for anything. All right, I'm going to do for Theology Central. So you look for Theology Central. If I can type correctly. All right, Theology Central. Me out for anything. All right, I'm going to go here. All right. North Carolina, thank you so much for tuning in. The entire state of North Carolina has to, okay, right. The individual from North Carolina, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hang on, I'm going to check this. All right, gotta. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, we have Calvary Baptist is wrapping up their live stream, I think. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 46 minutes. I think they're having some kind of special meeting, some kind of revival, something. But I looked at the broadcast. I did not see a series that says special meetings. I mean, it's a Tuesday morning. I think Calvary Baptist is located in North Carolina, to be honest. So there's something going on in North Carolina. It looks like a conference because I can't see why they would be, having a church service at this point in time. So if we figure out if it's a revival or if it's a special conference, then if they group them together in some kind of a series, I'll try to tell you about it and a future episode of the Sermon Audio Daily. But in the meantime, we got to cover today's episode. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Hopefully, this is going to be really fast. It's going to be the quickest episode ever. Really fast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective, this is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, October the 14th, 2025. It is currently 11:08 a.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio located right here in Abilene, Texas. Now, you know what time it is, class. I guess, do I address you as a class? Okay, I will just, you know what time it is. It is time for you to grab your phone, your tablet, and open up the Sermon Audio app. That's the Sermon Audio app. You can download the Sermon Audio app on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Look for Sermons by Sermon Audio. Download the Sermon Audio app. If you're listening to this at some later time, it's not live, please download the Sermon Audio app. To everyone else, open up the Sermon Audio app. And it's time for another episode of the Sermon Audio Daily, the series where I do my very best to tell you what's going on the Sermon Audio platform, what to listen to, what to pay attention to. I try to be your curator. I try to be your helper in discovering content on the Sermon Audio platform. That includes the website and the app. And, we're going to do that today, but this one is going to go by very, very, very quickly, okay? Yesterday, I told you about the only Lutheran church on the Sermon Audio platform. And that pointed you to what? 679 sermons, or ever how many sermons that church has uploaded. So that should have kept you busy. That should have given you plenty to choose from. So today, I thought I would do something much simpler. And the reason I'm doing this, or not necessarily simpler, much less, well, I don't know. This would just have as much content. I don't know. I thought this would just be, instead of giving you like an entire series to listen to or something along those lines, just try to show you something that you could pick and choose when you listen, and it would always be available to you 24/7. I noticed it the other day and it caught my attention. All right. So if you have the Sermon Audio app, it will all make sense. If you have the Sermon Audio app, and I'm looking at it right now, the first thing you see at the very top is the vault. All right, Sermon Audio's desire to build the vault where they can preserve all of this preaching. It will be there, and they can kind of do so on their own servers and their own side, so that we don't have to worry about being censored or removed or, blocked or whatever the case may be. So it's a big undertaking by Sermon Audio. It's right there. And then, of course, there's other things going across the banner as it continues to switch. There's the technology lecture series it's talking about. There's their GOJ project, 12 cities, 12 months. So you just kind of their banner at the top, and it moves to different things. There's the Vault AI, and just all the different things going on. That's a good way to kind of see what Sermon Audio is, in a sense, promoting, what they are pushing, and you can keep up with a lot of information there. Right underneath that says live webcast, and lo and behold, well, there's Theology Central. That's us. Yay! Or that's me. Or I don't know why I say us. It's just me. Yeah, all right, there we go. We're the only one broadcasting right now. See, I should have scheduled this. I should have done something of great significance right there. But okay, you can see that. Underneath that, the featured sermon, the scattering that increases. Then I have my feed. If I look at my feed right now, what's in my feed? What's in your feed? Okay. And you say, well, how do you get stuff in your feed on the Sermon Audio app? You follow broadcasters. All right. So here's what's on my feed right now. Bob Jones University, a new sermon 26 minutes ago, wise rebuke from Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verses 5 through 6. That could be interesting. All right. So, I haven't listened to that yet. Secondly, is from the second one is Detroit Baptist Theological Seminary. Again, I always tell you, follow all the universities, follow all the seminaries, follow all the Bible colleges. Just do so, all right? So that one is Sustaining Faithful Fervent Ministry, 1 Corinthians 15:58. Underneath that, let's see. There's two from Dallas Theological Seminary, or Detroit Baptist Theological Seminary. The first one is A Life That Pleases God, Ephesians 5:10. The next one is Sustaining Faithful Fervent Ministry, 1 Corinthians 15:58, both from Detroit Baptist Theological Seminary. And follow all the seminaries, follow all the Bible colleges. Underneath that is from the Truth Pulpit, The Question That Will Change Your Life, Part 2. That looks interesting. Then the Central Baptist Church, How Shall We Overcome? Oh, that's interesting. How shall we overcome? 1 John chapter 5, verses 1 through 5. Yeah, that could be interesting. Then Calvary Baptist Church, Stir Up the Gift of God. All right. It doesn't have a series listed here. So, yeah, I don't know. And then Calvary Baptist Church, Make Time to Worship. See, there's something going on at Calvary Baptist Church. There's some kind of conference. There's some kind of revival. Maybe they'll group all this stuff into a series and we can figure out what's going on. Maybe the next time I see them live, I'll need to listen and figure it out. Then I have here Ambassador Baptist College, The Satisfaction of Service. Ambassador Baptist College, God is Real. Please note, follow all of the colleges, follow all of the universities, follow all the Bible institutes, all the seminaries. You just follow all of them. Just trust me. So that's kind of what's going on in my feed on the Sermon Audio app. I don't know what yours look like. I know it should include everything Theology Central has done, right? If your feed doesn't say Theology Central, that means you're not following me, and it means I'm greatly offended, and I'm hurt, and I don't understand. Okay, so that's what's going on in my feed. Now, let me go back to the home tab. Underneath that is newest sermons. If I click on see all, well, there's just, a never-ending amount of new sermons. I've got Unity from God, A Mind for Action, Blameless Before the Lord of Storms, Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People? Are there any good people? All right, well, that's a whole different argument. Running is Hard, Why We Suffer, Jesus is Coming, Are You Ready? The Second Coming of Christ, God Hates Violence. Sounds like this is about Hamas. Wise Rebuke, which is in my feed. Not everyone who claims to be a Christian is one. Ooh, I bet you that gets into kind of some lordship concepts. Between the Lines, Where Art Thou? Accurately Handling the Word. Ooh, someone has figured out how to accurately handle the Word. We need to listen to that one, all right? So that's some of the newest sermons. So far, so good. Newest videos. And then, do you see it, ladies and gentlemen? Do you see it? Radio. There is the radio section of the Sermon Audio app. 3 radio stations are available to you 24/7 via the Sermon Audio app and the Sermon Audio website. If you look for this on the Sermon Audio website, let me see if I can find it for you on the Sermon Audio website. Let me go to Sermon Audio. And remember, the whole goal of this series is to help you know what's going on Sermon Audio. If you look at the website, on the left, you have all the different tabs, all the different, basically an entire menu. If you go down, you'll see radio. You click on it, and now wait, the website only has 2 radio stations. We've just discovered something. Why does the app have 3? And the website has 2. We just discovered something. All right. I don't have any answers for you. Okay. But on the website, there's only 2. Now, the 2 main radio stations that have been available on the Sermon Audio app are the number 1, the Sermon Audio radio station, Sermon Audio radio stream 24/7. If you click on it, sounds like this.
To try to trap him in his words, we couldn't have an open-air meeting, but that plainclothes detectives were in, and I can see some of them in my mind's eye to this day, seeking to provoke a public fracas in order to land us in jail. Those were dark days, but God moved.
Okay, that's what's currently going on Sermon Audio Radio 24/7. And of course, now, when you listen to Sermon Audio Radio, you draw your own conclusion. I would challenge everyone to go listen to Sermon Audio Radio today and just see what the variety is. Do you start determining that if it's certain preachers? I still think it should be a lot more open, and they should be pulling from everything within the Sermon Audio archive. They've got millions of sermons available. I think it should be, and I think they should group things together, and I think they should have an announcer personally. I think they should have someone at least recording the voiceovers. Hey, for the next 2 hours, we are going to deal with sermons or discussions with the doctrine of atonement, and just, I don't know. I just think there's a lot you could do with the Sermon Audio Radio to make it even more appealing and more beneficial. But that's just my own feelings, my own thoughts, but it's there. Use it. It's the Sermon Audio radio station. But underneath that is VCY. VCY America Radio, streaming 24/7. It currently sounds like this. Hang on, if it'll play. Maybe.
They've been agreed on. So why is that important for you to know? That your supernatural miracle, whatever is in God's...
That's Dr. Tony Evans. There's a number of feeds.
They've been agreed on.
Okay, so most of these are all the same. Okay, for some reason on the website, instead of opening up directly to playing, it opens up to their website, vcyamerica.org. And that one is, again, 24/7 preaching and music on VCY Radio. Probably the big thing about VCY Radio is their overnight program. And I think it's very peaceful. And if you're ever up between midnight and 6 in the morning or 11 p.m. to 6 in the morning, it's always good to tune in. And I think it's good for overnight listening. So those are the two available on the Sermon Audio website. But if you will open up the Sermon Audio app, you will notice you have Sermon Audio Radio 24/7, which we've already checked out, VCY Radio. Now, if you open up VCY Radio on the app, it just opens up immediately to the program.
Situation, because he's been locked down behind a stone. That whole group.
So it just immediately opens, and it doesn't give you extra feeds to choose from. So on the website, it opens up to the VCY website. So that's the difference. But all right, so those are the two major stations, Sermon Audio Radio 24/7, available on the website and the app, VCY Radio, available on the website and the app. But on the app, you'll notice today, there's a third one, a new one. And I'm like, where is this coming from? This is Caribbean Radio Lighthouse. Caribbean Radio Lighthouse. And I'm like, what is this? I just discovered it, I don't know, a couple of days ago. And if you click on it.
Comforted in your comfort. Yea, and exceedingly the more joyed we for the joy of Titus, because his spirit was refreshed by you all. For if I have boasted any...
This the Caribbean Radio, however you would like to say it, and it's available 24/7. Now, this is what I have discovered, all right? I've been listening to it off and on, trying to figure out what this is. It's coming from the West Indies, right? And if you listen, though, it sounds like to me, this is the radio feed from Fundamentalist Broadcasting Network, FBN. If you get online, you can do a search for FBN Radio. In fact, let me just go here. I'm just going to do a search online. I think it's FBN Radio. Just going to do a search for FBN Radio. There it is. FBNradio.com. FBNradio.com. Fundamental Broadcasting Network. Fundamental Broadcasting Network, Christ Honoring Music, and KJV Preaching for the Whole Family. This FBN is a listener-supported ministry. It was founded by Pastor Clyde Eborn of Grace Baptist Church in Newport, North Carolina. I've listened to Fundamental Broadcasting Network for I don't even know how many years. Feels like 20 years, maybe. For a very, very long time. All right. So I think I know their programming pretty well. And so when I listen to if I go to Sermon Audio, again, the app, go down to radio, look at Caribbean Lighthouse or Caribbean Radio Lighthouse. It is the FBN radio stream. It is. There may be some deviations from the schedule. There may be some additional programming, but it's pretty much that stream. Now, it's on the time zone of, well, they're in the Caribbean, they're in the West Indies. So it's interesting. If you're listening at night, it's completely different. You know, it's not night for you, depending on where you are. So I've caught on to that, but it's basically FBN radio. Now, if I go to the FBN radio, I'm hearing programming on their schedule that would be more for, well, my time zone. If I listen to that one, it's FBN radio programming for their time zone. So that's the only kind of variation, but it's FBN radio in my estimation. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't listened to it enough, but it's there. So Sermon Audio has now given us 3 radio streams available on the app. I don't know why the website's only offering 2. I didn't even realize that until I just discovered it. But 3 radio stations. The first one is Sermon Audio Radio 24/7. Listen to it. Again, I still think they should expand it. I think there should be more variety. I think there's a lot of creative things they could do to try to get people to tune in. VCY Radio, I think you'll find a pretty good amount of variety, and their overnight programming is excellent. Between about 11 p.m. to 5 or 6 in the morning, it's just perfect for overnight. Now, yeah, it tends to be very devotional in nature, and we could talk about, my issues with devotional approach to things, but it's there. I think it's perfect for overnight. Caribbean Radio Lighthouse is basically FBN radio. And there's 3 stations. I don't think they ever announced. I don't think there's a news article or anything where they announced the addition of this. I don't know when it showed up on the app. To me, it's been within the last week or so. Maybe I missed it before, but there's now 3 radio stations available to you. And you say, why am I telling you this? Well, first, this is a Sermon Audio Daily. This entire series is about telling you what's going on the Sermon Audio platform. And again, I'm not affiliated with Sermon Audio. This is just me trying to... I see Sermon Audio as this amazing archive of content. So much new content's being added around the clock that stuff gets buried. And I just trying to help people get the most out of it, because I think if, it needs to be, it's there. Content's just getting buried and collecting dust. Let's get the most out of it. So I'm trying to find you things to listen to. That's what this whole series is about. But I don't know if you use the radio stations. I don't think most people do. I don't know if Sermon Audio has numbers. I would love to see their numbers for how successful the radio streams are. But if you can open up the Sermon Audio app and sometimes you don't even know what to choose. You don't even know where to begin. Just click on the radio. While you're working, while you're cleaning, just click on one of the radio stations and just hit play. And just whichever one you pick, you stay with for a couple of hours. Kind of feel what you like about it, what you dislike about it. Then the next day or 2 days later or a week later, go to the next radio station, listen for a couple of hours. Then go to the third one. Again, on the website, you only have access to 2. I do not know why. But on the app, you have access to 3. Right there within the app. It opens within the app. See, if I go to Sermon Audio Radio within the app, look what happens. It just opens immediately within the app. If I go to VCY Radio.
Gaming the time. In 1964, 17-year-old Randy Gardner stayed awake for 264 hours and 12 minutes, the world's record. Randy was a young man who took waking up to an extreme. And while we don't need to go as far as he did, some of us who struggle with getting up on time might benefit from resorting to extremes if need be.
Okay, that's what's going on there. And if I go to the Caribbean Lighthouse.
That confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some which think of us as if...
They're doing Bible reading. The point is 3 different sources, 24/7, different content available to you for free via the Sermon Audio app. You don't have to go to a different app. You don't have to open up a browser. You just open up the app, you hit play, and then you can immediately just, minimize the window. You can look around the Sermon Audio platform and you can be like, oh, this is going on, or, oh, I'm going to go listen to this now. It's available to you, so use it, all right? Use it. That's what's going on today on the Sermon Audio platform. A new radio station has been made available to you, and I would challenge you to listen to it, to make the most out of it and benefit from it. Will you like all 3 of the stations the same? No. Will you benefit from all of them the same? No, because every individual is going to be different. But find the one that works for you, and then whenever you're just like, I don't know what to do today, I don't know what to listen today, just start a radio station and just listen. There you go. It's that simple. All right. That is your Sermon Audio Daily for today. Sermon Audio has added a 3rd radio station, the Caribbean. Hang on. If I can find it, where is it? Where's the radio section? Here it is. The Caribbean Radio, or Caribbean Radio Lighthouse, or the Caribbean Radio Lighthouse. Which one do you give? The Pirates of the Caribbean? Or the Pirates of the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean. All right. You can, however you would like to say it. All right. I've been to the Caribbean a couple of times. And so I don't think I've been exactly to that particular part where this radio station is located. But there you have it. And just listen to it for yourself. You can discover for yourself. I don't need to do everything for you here. All right. Go listen. There you go. That's your Sermon Audio Daily today. I'm here to help you try to find the best content possible on the Sermon Audio platform and that doesn't mean I'm always going to agree with it. It just means I'm trying to help you get the most from it. Just remember, 5,000 to 7,000 sermons are added every single week to the Sermon Audio platform. That means stuff gets buried in 5.2 seconds that you're never going to find. There are sermons and messages on Sermon Audio that have been there for 5 years that have like 13 downloads. That means nobody has found it. Nobody has discovered it. So sometimes I'm going to talk to you about what's popular. Sometimes I'm going to talk to you about what's has been ignored. But the key is to get the most out of it. And I just noticed that a third radio station the other day and was like, where did this come from? And there you go. So if you're using the website, go download the app, because the website, you only have access to 2 of the stations. I don't know why. I didn't even realize that I just assumed the website was the same as the app, but not. I'm assuming that they will address that at some point. And there you have it. And they don't do a lot of promoting the radio stations, do they? I don't think they do. Personally, I think they should be maybe on the banner. Maybe they should promote the stations a little bit more, especially their own, Sermon Audio Radio. I don't know. But you listen, you draw your own determination. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. That's your Sermon Audio Daily. Go listen. God bless.